हेलो एवरीबॉडी, आप सभी का स्वागत है मेरे यूट्यूब चैनल पर। आज मैं आपको बताने जा रहा हूँ व्हाट आर द वेरियस डिटर्मिनेंट्स ऑफ डिमांड। द डिटर्मिनेंट्स ऑफ डिमांड आर दोज फैक्टर्स which affect the demand, and the determinants of demand are divided into two parts, that is price factor and non-price factors. The price factor includes the price of the commodity, which has generally the negative relationship with the demand. So there is inverse relationship between price of the commodity and its demand, other things remaining same. ये हमेशा याद रखिएगा, जब प्राइस ऑफ कमोडिटी जब चेंज होगा तो बाकी सब फैक्टर्स जितने भी है वो सब एज इट इज़ रहेंगे, यानी कि वो सब में चेंज नहीं आएगा. एंड इन दैट सिचुएशन व्हेन द प्राइस ऑफ अ कमोडिटी इंक्रीजेज द डिमांड फॉर दैट कमोडिटी डिक्रीजेज, अदर थिंग्स रिमेनिंग सेम. बिकॉज वी नो जब प्राइस किसी भी कमोडिटी का बढ़ता है तो आदमी का परचेजिंग पावर कम हो जाता है, इसलिए वो डिमांड कम करता है. सो इन्वर्सली वी कैन से दैट व्हेन द प्राइस डिक्रीजेज the purchasing power of people increases, as a result the demand for the commodity also increases. So there is negative relationship between price and quantity demanded for a commodity. Similarly, there are various non-price factors that also affect the demand of the commodity. The number one non-price factor is consumers' income level. As the consumers' income level increases, the purchasing power of people also increases, and as a result the demand for normal goods, the luxury goods will also increase. But when the income increases, the demand for inferior goods, the demand for low quality goods decreases. Similarly, when the income of consumers increases, the demand curve will shift upward to the right side, and when the income level decreases, the demand curve will shift downward to the left side in case of normal goods and luxury goods. And in case of inferior type goods, when the income increases, the demand curve will shift downward to the left side, and when the income decreases, the demand curve will shift upward to the right side. Similarly, second non-price factor is the price of related commodities. The related commodities may be substitute goods or may be complementary goods. So in case of substitute goods, we see the positive relationship between price of one commodity and the demand for its substitute commodity. Suppose tea and coffee are both substitute goods to each other. We see when the price of tea increases, the consumers consuming tea will divert to consume the coffee. So as a result the demand for coffee also increases. So as we see, the price of tea increases, the demand for coffee also increases. Similarly, when the price of tea decreases, the demand for coffee will also decrease. So there exists positive relationship, or we can say there exists direct relationship between price of one commodity and demand for its substitute commodity. And similarly, in case of complementary goods, the price of complementary goods, the price of one commodity affects the demand for its complementary goods. The complementary goods are those goods which are consumed together. Suppose pen and ink. When the price of pen increases, the people who are using pen are also buying the ink. So when the price of pen increases, it becomes costlier for the consumers to use pen, and they will shift to the dot pens, suppose. So they will consume less of the pen, and similarly the demand for ink will also decrease, because people will divert from pen to the dot pen. So when the price of pen increases, the demand for its complementary goods, that is the ink, will decrease. So we can say that there is inverse relationship between price of one commodity and demand for its complementary goods. Similarly, the next non-price factor that affect the demand is taste and preference of the consumers. The taste and preference of the consumers affect positively to the demand for the commodity. When a product comes into the fashion, people like it, people prefer it. So as the taste and preference of people is higher, so will be the greater the demand. So higher the taste and preference, more will be the demand for the commodity. And similarly, when the product goes out of the fashion, people don't like the product, they don't prefer it, so they will buy less of the commodity. So when the taste and preference are lower, the demand for the commodity will also be lower. Similarly, the next factor that affects the demand for the commodity is advertisement. Heavy advertisement done by the companies accelerate the demand for the product. So higher the advertisement, higher will be the demand for the commodity, and vice versa. Similarly, the next non-price factor affecting the demand is population size. We see the larger the market, it means the more population means more demand of the commodity. Lesser the population, less will be the demand for the commodity. And similarly, another factor affecting the demand is price expectation in the near future. If people expect the price to be decreased in the near future, then they will stop buying the product today. So the demand for the commodity will be lower today. Similarly, if the price of the commodity is expected to be higher in the near future, then people will start purchasing of the product today. So the demand of the product will be higher today. So price expectation is also one of the important factors that affect the demand for the commodity. So these are some important factors that affect the demand for the commodity. And one thing always remember you, that when the price of the commodity changes, it causes the movement along the demand curve. But when there is change in any kind of non-price factors, then it will cause shift in the demand curve. ओके, सो मेरी इस वीडियो को आप लोग ज़रूर से लाइक और शेयर कीजिएगा, और आप लोगों को ये वीडियो कैसी लगी वो भी आप सभी बताइएगा। ओके, धन्यवाद, थैंक यू। फिर मिलेंगे नेक्स्ट वीडियो के साथ।